Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I'm back to post a quick video here. I was just watching a couple videos here a moment ago, and I saw this vinyl tag that's been going around. And I was actually watching Naz Nomad. I was watching his video response to the vinyl tag, and I don't know, just kind of got excited and made some great questions, and I loved a lot of the answers that he gave, a lot of the '80s stuff that he picked out. The Knack, Sinead O'Connor, a bunch of other things, which I thought were just some absolute great answers to some of those questions, and just kind of thought, let me jump in and do a response as well. So that's what I did. I went and ran through the questions. I pulled my laptop over here so I could have the questions in front of me, and just kind of really tried to go with the very first thing that popped in my mind when I asked myself each one of the questions. So just kind of dive right in and kind of go from there. So question number one: how many records do you own? Took a quick look at my database before I started this video, and I'm at 3,621 12 inches, which kind of shocked me because I'm quite a ways down. I mean, I was well over 4,000, about 4,500 just not too long ago. So I was kind of shocked at seeing how much I've actually trimmed down in my collection, which is good. Uh, so that's on the 12 inch, and then on the 7 inch, I was at 669 7 inches. So I've trimmed down a little bit there as well. So that's kind of my general numbers. Not general, actually, very specific numbers. uh, what kind of record player do you have? I've gotten rid of a good, majority of my tables now. I just have four at this point. One which is down in storage. Excuse me, so I won't even go into that. It's a Sonya fully automatic table. But my main table over here in my living room is the 1.3. I think it's the Genie, technically is the name with that. Then in my other listening room, the Music Hall 2.2 with the acrylic platter. And then in my bedroom, I have the vintage MCS. I believe it's a 6601. And, all three just kind of good introduction level, if you will, type tables. Um, for a vintage table, though, I highly recommend that MCS. Really, most of the MCS tables, but that 6601. I mean, I just really love that table. You can find one from anywhere 75 to $100, so it's not like a costly thing, but just like all that great vintage stuff, it's made well. I love the mechanics of it, the sound of it. It's just a really really solid table, and that's the one I have in my bedroom. So those are the three tables that I have right now. Question number three: how old were you when you started collecting records? Technically, with my collecting, it was probably just over 9 years ago that I started collecting. And like I know many people have a very similar story. I was actually in a store buying some CDs and saw a dollar bin, and I purchased like 9 or 10 records, even though I wouldn't have a record player for another year, year and a half, or something like that. But I think when I really started going to a store looking for records to play on a turntable that I had, that was probably about 9, 9.5, somewhere around there years ago. So not too long. Um, let's see, strictly talking vinyl, of course, not CDs and cassettes and all of that. Let's see. Question four: what is the oldest record that you own? Actually, I have no idea. We talk about just not like from the issue date, like a reissue from a record that was came out in the 40s or whatever, but actual just the oldest press. I really do not know. That's one thing that I almost never pay attention to with records. I would assume it's probably one of the old deep groove blue note records that I have or something like that. But yeah, I honestly don't know my oldest record. Um, what question are we on? Question number five. What is the first record you ever got? That's easy. A 45 of Debbie Boone's "You Light Up My Life." I remember my parents bought me that. Um, Gosh, that had to be somewhere around kindergarten, maybe first, second grade, somewhere in there. Um, and I just played the heck out of that 45. Like over and over and over. I'm not even sure if I even had any other records, but I used to have one of those little flip down record players with the speakers that were stuck on the side. I mean, I can remember just over and over just spinning that. And I can also remember talking to Debbie back through the speakers. I remember I thought if I said something to her in the speakers that she would actually hear, you know. But yes, that was the first first record I ever got. Um, but yeah, we'll move right along since I just lost all kind of cool points with that. Debbie Boone, You Light Up My Life. So, what is the first record you ever got? No, I'm sorry. That was the first record I ever got. What is the first record you ever got with your own money? And that would have to be this one here, which actually it might be a tie, but I think it was this one. The Irons, This is a Land of Hunger 12-inch single. This was somewhere around fifth grade. And this actual copy, I bought somewhere back around fifth grade. I wasn't collecting vinyl at the time, but I really loved this band. I used to see them on BET all the time. And when I was in fourth, fifth grade, this was like the coolest thing in the world to me because this was like the Daft Punk of that day when these guys always wore these suits and these helmets when they performed, when they did interviews. You never saw their faces. You didn't know their names because they all went by the numbers that were on their jackets. It's like number 22, number 69. And so yeah, when you're a kid, it was like, that's just the coolest thing in the world. And I was in a record store one day, coming from a baseball card shop. I was in a record store and just happened to see this. And even though I didn't really have a record player, I thought my mom had an old one in the basement, blah, blah, blah. I picked up this 12-inch. And sure as heck, a few years ago, my mom was cleaning out some stuff and found this record from dating all the way back to grade school, which is kind of awesome. So, yeah, I bought this with my own money back in fifth grade, somewhere around there. And I also bought when I said it's potentially a tie, a Kiss Alive 2 at that same store when I saw that gatefold and all of that. And I can't remember if it was this one first or the Kiss Alive 2 or vice versa. But those were definitely the first two albums I bought with my own money. Let's see. Next question, number 7. What is your favorite colored vinyl? As most of you in the VC know, I'm not a huge colored vinyl fan, but I do have a few that are kind of neat. And actually, the coolest ones I probably are ones that I've sold. Um, but anyway, let me kind of show you what I have. Well, I'll show you the record first. We'll start off with In This Moment, Beautiful Tragedy. So glad they finally issued this on vinyl, which was so nice. Been waiting for this one for a long time. And I was a little disappointed that it was on colored vinyl, but at the same time, it does have one of my favorite colors mixed in, which is that North Carolina blue. I know you're seeing mostly white there, but there's a little bit of blue kind of worked into the white areas. But so considering the context of the album and the overall cover scheme, this isn't horrible, but I still would have preferred black vinyl. But so that would be one of my favorite colored vinyls. And one more that popped in my head, Bad Brains. This is their 2012 release. And this one always sticks out in my mind too, because it's clear with kind of the yellow, green, and purplish splatter. So I would put that down. Maybe it's one of my favorite colored vinyls. But again, I'm not a huge fan of colored vinyl at all. There's also a Static X I could have pulled out. It just popped in my mind right now as I was thinking about it. But there we go as far as colored vinyl. Number 8, what is a discount album you own? I'm assuming that means like a greatest value, something you got really cheap. And it would actually probably the best discount albums that I've ever owned. There would be 3. I guess one would be this Lanois by Neil Young, brand new copy. And I say this is a great discount value album because I got it for free, which is about as discount as you can possibly get. But I think the other 2 just are really, really quick stories. There was a Sonny Rollins that I sold not too long ago. Deep Groove Tour de France LP in great shape. I bought it for $3 at a record show and sold it for $2.60, I think, on eBay. So that was definitely a good discount buy. And then there was something else. Oh, a Panic at the Disco, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. I bought a brand new copy of that from Hot Topic and never opened it up. And it was on sale at Hot Topic. It was down from $11.99. They marked it down to $5.99, and I bought it for $6. And I sold that not too long ago, and that fetched close to $250, $300 or somewhere around there too. So those are probably my best discount albums ever. Excuse me. So moving right along, what is your prized possession? That one's fairly easy. By far not the most valuable album in my collection, but definitely my most prized possession. Sam Magawana, African All Stars. And I've told this story a long time ago in some of the older videos. A lot of this African music goes back to stuff that I listened to when I was growing up. You know, my dad was originally from Africa, so I had a lot of that influence in my house. And there's a song off of this album that was on a dubbed 8-track that someone made for my dad. So it was one of those songs that we had listened to over and over, and I had no idea about the name of the artist or anything of that nature. And long story short, saw this on eBay one day. It was listed to be in good condition, and I thought I'm going to get this no matter what. So I actually set the timer on my oven because it was just under 24 hours when the auction was up. Set the timer on my oven, my phone, got on there a few minutes before, and I put this huge, outrageous bid on there. Well, considering the value of the album, like $150, $170, something like that. I put on there, and I was just thinking, I hope no one just bids this thing up because it's not worth that much. But I want it that bad. I want to make sure I get it no matter what, and nobody else bid on it. So I end up getting it for like $15, I think. But definitely my most prized possession in my collection. Because these older African albums, especially in good playing condition, good condition, are really, really hard to find. So that's probably my most prized possession. Let's see. A record by a female artist. The two that immediately came to mind, there were two. Sade, Love Deluxe. My favorite album by her. Fantastic album from front to back. A lot of great hits on this album. Of course, the songs that everyone tends to know is No Ordinary Love, Kiss of Life, Cherish the Day. Those are kind of the big hits off of this, especially more mainstream stuff in movies and things like that. But the song Bulletproof Soul and Mermaid are truly the most beautiful pieces off of this album. So I love this to death. So when that question popped up, just the first album that came to mind. And the second one that came to mind, female artist, the Pipettes. And again, I have no idea why, but this is just the first one that popped up in my head. And this is We Are the Pipettes. I remember I got this album in DC a few years ago. So yeah, just good fun stuff. My favorite song off of here is Your Kisses Are Wasted on Me. It's kind of a fun little quick 2-minute song that has some of that 60 girls band feel to it, and just kind of a fun album. So that's a couple of records by a female artist. Record by your favorite band. I actually had to take this one off the wall because this is only one of 2 albums they have pressed on vinyl. And this is the only one I have, which is Godsmack. Definitely my favorite band. Now, I wish they would press Awake on vinyl because that's my favorite album by them. But this is their debut album, just a 2 LP picture disc set. And yeah, Godsmack's probably definitely my favorite band. So it has been for quite some time. But gosh, I wish they would get some of their stuff out on vinyl. That would be so great. A Record Store Day box set with their first 5 or 6 albums would just be, oh, heavenly. But let's move right along. So, record by a favorite band, an impulse buy. I'm going to go with this band. I actually bought these two at the same time, so I'll just kind of show them both really quick. Braids. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this band before or not, but I hadn't heard of them and saw the covers of this album as well as this one, and kind of reminded me a lot of Tycho when I just that cover design and everything. So I gave him a quick listen, a couple of tracks in the store, kind of liked it, and just went ahead and picked it up and really, really kind of dug it. You know, so that was probably the last impulse buy where I just was like, hey, who's that? Okay, grab it, check it out, and see. 2 very good albums there. Let's see. That was impulse buy. A gift. Excuse me. Got this for my birthday not too long ago. Or actually, not too long ago. It was a few years ago. Seems like not too long ago. Or maybe it was a Christmas. I don't remember. One of them, Christmas or my birthday. I get records for almost every single event, so sometimes it's hard to remember which ones came when. But Counting Crows, August and Everything After. And this was really cool at the time because this is a record I had wanted for a long time. So when this popped up in the box as a gift, it was extremely exciting. So great gift there. Classic album, of course. Most played record. And I'm assuming we're talking about vinyl that's actually been spun and not necessarily the record or album you've listened to the most, like, including in the car and iPod and all of that. But I think the vinyl record I've actually spun the most, and right behind this one, maybe a really close second, if not tied for first, would be Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Sorry, going brain dead there. And there was one other too. I don't know, slipping my mind now. But yeah, Metallica's Ride the Lightning I listened to quite a bit, but I think I actually spin this one a little bit more, which is David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust. Of course, again, an absolute classic album there as well. Pull my list back up there. So yeah, that's definitely probably the record I spin the most. Moving right along. Most played record, a Rarity. Let's see. Got this whole stack of things over here. Let me see if I can find Rarity. Okay, yeah. I think I pulled these two out. Scorpion's Virgin Killer, the uncensored cover. Plus in really good condition too. Extremely good condition. So these aren't exactly easy to find. A little disturbing as well. And then also, I thought about this one. U2, All That You Can't Leave Behind. Also not a very easy album to stumble across. And that one's in near mint condition as well, which is nice. So that'll be my Rarity picks. Rainy Day record. Let's see, if Debbie Boone wasn't bad enough, I'm going with Jules' Pieces of You. Fantastic Rainy Day record. I swear she actually wrote this album sitting out in the rain. That's almost how like depressing the feel is on it. But yeah, I mean, I liked this when it first came out, and to this day I still like it. It's a really, really great album. And when you listen to songs like Who Will Save Your Soul, I mean, there is no better song that's written to be staring out of a raining window. I mean, that song is just creepy and depressing and just all kinds of stuff. So definitely a rainy day gloomy type album that matches that mood. A feel good album, that's easy too. Sun comes out and you're ready to have a little bit of fun. Always got to go to the 80s for fun. The Cars, easy pick on that one. I mean, there's just so much just great upbeat 80s stuff on this. I mean, side one just starts out with Good Times Roll, My Best Friend's Girl, and Just What I Needed, as if that wasn't enough on one album. Then you go to the second side, you have Bye Bye Love and Moving in Stereo. I mean, come on. That's just to put a smile on your face. And yeah, definitely a feel-good album there. Nostalgic album. Again, I'm assuming we're referring back to just records that hold meaning for us and not necessarily in the history of music or collecting or anything. And I would have to go with Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. And for those of you that have followed me for a while, this is going to be a story that you've heard probably a couple times in videos again. But the song Eyes Without a Face and U2's With or Without You were the first two songs that brought me to MTV and were the first two songs that brought me to 80s pop and new wave. And actually in that order, I saw that video first and then the YouTube video came on right after. So this album right here really has a great influence in just kind of all things on the rock and pop side that came from me, because prior to this, I really didn't know anything on the pop and rock side at all. So yeah, and in particular, I say with this album because this is the actual first album / cassette or anything else that I ever bought out of a store. And I mean this actual copy. You know, I've had this copy since fifth grade. So I mean, this cassette has followed me around a long time. And back then, I didn't have a lot of, you know, money to just go out and buy cassettes and build a collection, all that kind of stuff. So when you got an album, you listen to it all the time. You listen to it from front to back. You knew every single song. And so yeah, this album just holds a lot for me because again, this is just the start of all things pop and rock for me. So a very, very important album. Let's see, we're at 20 minutes, so we're not bad. About to wrap up here. Record store day purchase. Always happy to see these Joan Jetts being reissued. So this was a very nice record store day purchase. And I also pulled out this one as well. Brave New World. This is, well, obviously the record store day reissue. Really cool story behind this one too that I would have mentioned, just kind of going on the discount album, because this could have been one of my discount albums. I've had original pressing of this, which I'm actually selling right now with the picture disc, and I went to a local store, saw one of these in the record store day pile. It was $29.99, and I thought, I'm not spending $30 for a record I already have, you know, blah blah blah. Came home, saw what they were going for online, and thought, oh, it might be good to go ahead and pick that up. So I went back, it was gone. Okay, shoot. Another store I go to about an hour and a half from here in Illinois, I remember a long time ago they had a couple, so I was in there looking, and I just so happened to, boom, there's two of them still there, both $29.99. So I was like, okay, great. I purchased both of them, and then I bought about $130 of stuff that day. And I thought, well, I can spend $130 because I'll be able to take this one album home, and I'll sell this one and get my entire $130 back. And sure enough, I bought them all. 130, brought this back and sold the other one for 130 on eBay. So technically this one was free, so this could be a discount album too. So record store day and discount album all in one on that one. But yeah, you gotta find ways to finance this stuff, man, because record collecting is too freaking expensive. Let's see, and last but not least, a recent purchase. Same thing here too, stuff I just recently sold on eBay. I used some of that money to purchase this, which is Bat for Lashes, The Bride. Just purchased that. I'm not sure maybe how many people are familiar or not familiar with Bat for Lashes, a group I've kind of, I guess, started to know or have gotten to know just over the last couple years, really. Have a couple of their albums on vinyl. Actually, this is a CD playing in the background too. It's very much the feel that I get from it. I'm not totally talking about the sound, but the feel is almost a little more of a popish version of Enya. It's not as mystical, flowy, but it's that same kind of soft harmonic feel. And again, different albums actually by Bat for Lashes that some of them sound different. A good song I recommend checking out if you're not familiar with this group. It's not on this album, but the song Lilies, I think, is one of the first songs that brought me to them. So if you want to kind of get a better feel for what they're like, start there and then work your way out, maybe even to this album. But anyway, so that's a recent purchase. So there you go, VC. My quick reply to the vinyl tag. Again, some really fun questions. Really enjoyed watching your guys' videos. Let me know what you think, and as always, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.